thing about the Diplomat Hotel is that there's a lot of things that go bump in the night in this place.
Can we just go and see if there's something there, I think?
If you do something to get them angry, then they'll probably do something to you physically.
This was a place that people were tortured and died. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into AmysCrypt. Today I am taking you to the most haunted place in the Philippines, known as the Old Diplomat Hotel. I'm going to be covering its gruesome history, ghost stories, and we're also going to be sticking around for a nighttime paranormal investigation. But before we get to it, I just wanted to let you all know that this is a very special video filmed in collaboration with a good friend of mine and fellow YouTuber, Sir Spooks. Sir Spooks makes the spookiest and scariest videos on the internet. I adore them and I know that you guys will too. I'm linking his channel below, so go check it out when you're done here with this video. I also just want to let you guys know that this video is made possible by Pine City Fright Tours, who operate out of Baguio in the Philippines. So if you guys are ever in town and want to have haunted adventures of your own, check them out. I'm linking their Facebook below. But let's jump straight in to the Old Diplomat Hotel. Alright guys, so I'm currently in the Old Diplomat Hotel. This place is thought to be one of the most haunted places in the Philippines. It was actually built back in 1913 through to 1915 as the Dominican Hill Retreat House, and that was for a lot of local friars and nuns to be able to come here from the city of Pine here in the Philippines. As World War II sort of came about, this place experienced a lot of dark events. It was actually taken over by the Japanese, who made it look as though it was a place for refugees trying to escape them, and they literally drew people here to torture and murder them. So there was a lot of really terrible crimes that were committed by this special Japanese police force that occupied this building, and that includes rape, violation, torture, murder, massacre. It's even said that a lot of nuns and priests that refused to leave this place during that time were also executed here. So also during the war, as the Philippines were being liberated, this place was even bombed, and it did sustain some damage. And it's said that the Japanese people who were currently occupying the space and didn't want to surrender or be captured committed suicide here within the Old Diplomat Hotel. After the war, this place was actually left abandoned until it was taken over by a man in the 1970s who actually had it converted into a hotel with about 30 odd rooms. And he used it as a place to draw people with terminal illness, claimed to be a psychic healer, and set about healing them. Though a lot of his techniques didn't really work and he was a little bit of a con artist, he actually managed to gain quite a following from them and even gained a cult-like status. The hotel was actually abandoned again in the 80s when this man died of a heart attack within the hotel, and it's been left abandoned basically since then, and has since accumulated many ghost stories, and there's supposed to be paranormal activity to happen here all of the time. It's certainly one of the most allegedly haunted and notorious places in the entire Philippines. A lot of the paranormal activity said to occur here includes the sightings of apparitions, some of these without a face, some of them without a head. Very common are priests and nuns to be seen as well. There's also a lot of disembodied voices. A lot of these are usually in pain, so crying or screaming. There's even been the voices of children heard here as well, which is particularly disturbing. I am going to be coming back here at night to do some paranormal investigations, so make sure you guys are subscribed and stay tuned. Also need to apologize for the sound. This by day is a tourist attraction, so there are a lot of people coming through here making a lot of noise. Alright guys, I am currently inside the Old Diplomat Hotel, and I am joined by Anton, who runs ghost tours here all throughout Baguio. They're called Pine City Fright Tours and they're excellent. He covers all of the best haunted locations here. especially the old Diplomat Hotel. So he's been coming here for years and he's very well versed in this place's history as well as its ghost stories. So Anton, I really just want to ask you a bit about the ghost stories or the supposed hauntings of this building. Like, who are our resident ghosts here?
Well, there are a number of different sightings here in the building. The most famous one would be the supposed headless priest, or they basically call him the Black Priest. It's a very dark, shadowy figure, phantasm that has been seen actually on the 3rd floor. He's also been seen roaming on the 2nd floor as well. People claim to have actually captured pictures or photographs or videos of him roaming the place. And then also you have also the priest, the ghost of the priest who are also seen on the 1st floor. And then of course you have a number of nuns who are also seen on the 1st floor as well. And of course, there are multiple other sightings, or what they hear like sounds of what seems to be like people crying, or the sounds of children, or the sounds of some Japanese soldier just talking to themselves in one of the rooms. It's basically pretty common actually here in Baguio for those things to happen, especially here in the Diplomat Hotel.
So you run a lot of ghost tours and you bring people through at night?
Yes, primarily yes. We start like in the afternoon, roughly between 4 all the way up to like 7:30 up to 8 p.m.
And these reports come from a lot of
people who have been here before, like tourists, or primarily most of the people who come here are actually just like ghost hunters, and there are cases of like famous or known groups that have actually come here before, like paranormal investigators from other countries. They also claim to have captured evidence of these kind of activities.
So you were telling me a really crazy ghost story that occurred at the front of the hotel while you were talking to a group of people. Mm-hmm. Can you just
Sure. Well, there's actually an interesting story. I was actually conducting a tour. This is about 2018, early 2018. I was with a group of people. We were roughly between 25 to 30 people, and we were all outside. And I was basically concluding the tour, and I was saying my goodbyes, and I was explaining, everything's just part of the show. And then out of the sudden, without any warning whatsoever, my guests started looking up, and they were basically surprised. They were like shouting, they were like pointing up there, and they were like, and they tried to indicate that they were seeing something up there on the 2nd floor in one of the windows, and then I'm continuing talking because I didn't want to be interrupted also, and I didn't get to see it, but everyone started taking pictures. So finally, I turned around and I missed it by a second or two, and I saw something that looked like a figure on the 2nd floor in one of the windows, looking down at us, and then it disappeared. It took a step back and then it completely vanished. Now I knew for a fact everything was locked. I made sure the 2nd floor no one could go up there anymore. And then, and I looked at the pictures that everybody captured, but they got 2 shots. The first one being a figure of a man standing near the window, looking down at everyone, at us. And then the second shot, what it did was it actually waved. Like it raised its hand and said, "Here I am." And it was interesting, and I saw it and I was pleasantly surprised. I said, okay, I didn't expect that. And that's, and they seemed I concluded maybe the ghost was friendly, or he was trying to acknowledge that it's there. And then these kind of things do happen most times or occasionally on the tour. There will be multiple, sometimes someone will actually see something, or something will actually like touch someone, or it would physically interact with the guest.
Yeah, that one I think is amazing. It just is really compelling because it was multiple people that saw it. It was caught on camera, and that the building was locked.
Not just one camera, everybody's camera.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Do you feel like there are negative entities or spirits here? You were telling us a story earlier about the guy who died in the back room from the heart attack.
There are the thing about the Diplomat Hotel is that there's a lot of things that go up in the night in this place. There are a lot of those, definitely, yes. Most of them are relatively friendly, some are neutral, and the other ones are generally, occasionally, if you do something to get them angry, then they'll probably do something to you physically. It does happen. Like there was, like I was mentioning the history about the house, about the building, and I was mentioning a guy named Tony Powell, the guy who actually ran the place from in the 80s, from the 70s to the 80s, and then he died in one of the rooms, in a room that he kept to himself. And what happened was Mr. Agbawa basically while on the night of his death, this according to the story, that he had a heart attack and that he was being attacked by some unseen negative force. Something reached to his chest and basically crushed his heart. And none of his workers could actually get to him because what happened was, once he tried to go through the door, there was something behind the door pushing back, and so they took around maybe like 10 guys before they could even just nudge the door just a little bit. And they saw that he was on the floor and he was basically convulsing and he was like, having a heart attack. Finally, after he stopped moving and when he died, the door swings open and all these, they fall inside, they get to him, they try to resuscitate him, but it's too late. And that he was basically pronounced dead. Days later on, while they were doing the autopsy, the person who was doing the autopsy basically cut him open, removing all his organs to prepare for the funeral. And then what happened was he noticed something peculiar about everything was normal, everything else, except for his heart, which looked like someone physically held it at the time of his death and physically what seemed to be like crushed it, like squeezed it. And that could have been what actually killed him.
Yeah.
You have to assume.
That's quite a disturbing story
basically.
as well.
I think personally he might have had it coming because he was not exactly the nicest of sorts.
Yeah.
He did take advantage of a lot of people.
Yeah. Are his victims thought to still remain here, or is it mostly ghosts that were treated bad and killed here during the war?
Well, it's a mix. You have to understand that even before then, even before the 70s and the 80s, the place was actually occupied by the Japanese during World War II from 1942 all the way to 1945. It was actually one of the Japanese main garrisons. The people who occupied this place, they were known as the Camp Pecha, or Japanese secret police. They were actually in charge of this place back then. And then what they did was to lure refugees, they opened it up as a refugee center so that they can trick people into coming here, and then they would get them and they would basically torture them. And some of them were locked in the actually the basement, or sort of like the aqueduct, or basically the catacombs, which is underneath this entire structure. And what happened was these people were tortured and most of them died. Even some of the priests and the nuns were captured as well, and they also died in the structure. And then by the end of the war, this is one of the last places that the Americans attacked because it was heavily guarded by the Japanese. This is where most of the main forces retreated. So what happened was you have a lot of Japanese soldiers who were here and they fought back with the Americans who fought with them. So it was basically like a battleground.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of dead Americans and a lot of roaming this place.
So spirits could be.
Yeah, definitely. Any one of those times.
Yeah, that's crazy. This place has so much history behind it as well, and so much dark history too. And I know that there is a lot of ghostly claims, and someone who spent so much time here, do you feel that there's any hotspots or particularly places that would target in an investigation?
Well, there are. Like, for example, the room in which Mr. Agbawa died in or passed in. That's a popular hotspot. A lot of people like to go there and try to conduct an investigation, see if they can actually get something. There's also downstairs in the fountain area. That's also another known hotspot because that's where supposedly the Japanese drowned babies or children in the fountain area. That's also where you can find a lot of the priests or the nuns, especially. They're seen roaming on the first floor. So it's basically just pick a spot anywhere, you're probably gonna get something.
And you also mentioned there's a morgue.
Yeah, there was on the property.
So just out the back, and there has been a bit of activity there.
Yeah, supposedly they see the ghost of one of the nuns near the morgue, or it could be a nun, or it could be mistaken for something else, or maybe it's one of the victims of Mr. Agbawa roaming that area.
Yeah.
Because that was burned during the fire back in the 80s. The building was actually set ablaze, as you notice why it looks like this, because there was a huge fire. It took place in the morgue and then it spread over to the building.
This place is supposed to be one of the most haunted in the Philippines.
Yeah. It's ranked as one of the most haunted places in the Philippines, and in Asia as well. So.
Yeah, it's very notorious and well known. I've had a lot of my subscribers, my viewers recommend that I come here because there's so many stories to go with it. But I just want to thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. So Pine City Fright Tours, they're amazing ghost tours in Baguio. You guys should check out Anton's tours. I'm going to link them below for you all. Alright guys, so I'm finally going to take you into the old Diplomat Hotel, which we are standing out front of. And what is very cool is you guys would have just seen Anton before, but this far left one, right, Anton, is the window that everyone saw the apparition in at the end of his tour. Anton also told me earlier that it's quite common for people to pick up in photos and be a little bit scared because they're out the front here and they pick something up that looks like someone who's been hanged from the front of the building. And supposedly priests were hanged from the front. So, I mean, that's disturbing, and we haven't even made it inside the hotel. So let's head in. And we also have the original cross at the top. I should just point that out. That might be my favorite thing, actually, the cross.
Back when the hotel was operational, this is where they would receive guests, this part right here. And then of course there was like a lounge in this area here. You can see there's like an old fireplace.
Yeah.
And you notice there's 2 fountain areas. Actually most people just assume there's only one.
Yeah, I just realized there's 2 fountains.
Yeah.
So the fountain here on my left has a bamboo art installation structure over it. So I'm not going to take you into that one to look at, but let's head into this one here. So this is one of the 2 fountains here, and people have been using it as a wishing well. You can see the money and a sign in there. But one of the scariest and darkest places in the hotel actually are these fountains. So Anton was telling me earlier that this was actually a place where Japanese military, when they occupied, would use the water in these fountains to drown people. They also drowned babies here. I mean, that's very, very sad and disturbing. And sorry, there's like super amount of tourists in here, so you can probably hear them. This was a place that people were tortured and died.
Every so often, this is like I mentioned earlier that before, like you can actually see some of the ghosts of the nuns. They actually are seen roaming the halls, this portion over here.
Yeah.
We actually have a photograph. I had one guest of mine, he came back here during the day and he was standing over here, he took a selfie and then he actually got what looked like the nuns standing over there in one of this areas over here. And he said it to me right away, so take a look at this, I caught this, and this is during the day.
Yeah.
Took me by surprise as well. So,
it's a
clear visible nun.
So nuns and the priests are amongst the most common apparitions,
yes,
right?
Mostly yes, in this area here.
Alright guys, now we're going to take you up to the 2nd floor. There's a lot of other interesting places up there and a lot of rooms that were used during the time that this place was a hotel. So we'll be able to see inside some of those too. Alright, so I'm just going to take you into this room here behind me. This is kind of just an example of one of the rooms that would have been used as a hotel room here. And then you can see the bathroom with the funky tiles. So it actually smells a bit in here, but you can kind of get the feeling for the setup of a basic room. So if we look down here as well, we can see one of the water fountains from the 2nd floor. And it's actually a really cool site. Definitely, probably the most photographed things here. We have another very interesting room at the back end here. So we're gonna have a look. Okay guys, so this is one of the larger bedrooms, also the only one with a fireplace, and this was the place where our fake healer, the guy that owned this place throughout the 70s. So this was used as his office, and this is actually the place Anton was describing to us before, where he died. He had this heart attack that was, it could have been a supernatural event where he was kind of attacked by an unseen force, as the onlookers had described, and they were trying to get through this door here. And apparently there was a few people trying to push in to help this guy who was screaming out in pain, but there was an invisible force holding the door closed so they couldn't get in. And Anton told me earlier that basically as the scream stopped, that force dropped away and allowed them to enter the room, but it was too late. So that's kind of a scary, interesting story about this room. And you said there's some paranormal activity that usually goes on in here. Are you able to describe some of that?
Way back when, a few years ago, there was actually a story where they said that one of the guards, this was back a few years ago, whenever they used to come here at night, they patrol the place, they would actually notice that there was actually a figure that was standing near the fireplace. There was like one story where the guard was like, he was checking out the place at night, and then he saw a man standing over here, clear as day, but in the pitch, like in the dark.
Yeah.
So he calls out to this guy and says, "Sir, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to, wear your clothes." But the guy didn't do anything, didn't react or anything. It wasn't only until like seconds later that the guard realized that he wasn't talking to a person, he was actually talking to a ghost.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing was, the guard was kind of freaked out and basically just bolted from the room and all the way downstairs.
Yeah, I'd be the same. Are the guards scared of this place? Like for the
At
ghosts?
night, they're supposed to do patrols at night, but not necessarily. Not all the time.
We're gonna check out this morgue now. Actually, the morgue looks really creepy.
This is the only thing that survived the fire.
So this was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
What is this?
Those were bathrooms.
Big bauble in here. It's like a Christmas bauble. So these are bathrooms from the morgue area. Would the rest of it have extended this way?
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing? Yeah, maybe
time.
that's actually foundations of it over here
Yeah.
as well. So it's actually caught fire and burnt down in the 80s, and the hotel was a little bit damaged from it too. And Anton also told me earlier that this is a place that the ghost of a nun has been spotted by a couple of people just over by this tree behind Jared. Alright guys, I'm super excited because we've just made it back to the old Diplomat Hotel at night, and this place looks insanely spooky. We're about to head inside, and we're very, very lucky because we've been granted a special permission by the city to go in and investigate. So we're going to go in and just check out what it looks like in the dark. I can already tell it's going to be a scary one. Let's go inside. Alright, so we're just walking into the main entrance lobby, and besides a few dogs barking like down the hill, it's pretty quiet in here. Very, very dark and spooky. I think that we should maybe reach out, and I might just introduce myself first. Hello, if there are any spirits around in this building, we don't mean you any harm. My name is Amy, it's Jared. You guys probably already know Anton. We're going to be here for the next few hours. So if you guys if you would like to communicate or let us know that you are here, please feel free to do so. Okay guys, we've just ventured into a different area other than the lobby. I'm going to attempt a spirit box in here. This is one of the courtyards that features this water fountain, and as I mentioned earlier, this was a place where people were tortured, drowned, including babies. There's also been a lot of sightings of nuns, even captured in photographs just through these windows over here. So I feel like this could be an interesting place. I don't know that we might get anything through the spirit box, but I'm gonna try. I don't know. I'm also going to try and reach out in English. and see how we go. Alright guys, this is a spirit box session in the courtyard, one of the courtyards of the old Diplomat Hotel in the Philippines. I don't know why it's so... Hi, my name is Amy. Are there any spirits around that want to talk? Can you come close and use this device in my hands to communicate? Would you be able to tell me your name? Can you say hello? Why were you here? Is there somebody back there? I invite you to come closer to us if you are there. We did just hear some noise behind us. I'd say it was coming from within the building. I can hear dogs barking around me, but they're down the hill. Did you make a noise? Can you make that again? Can we just go and see if there's something there, I think? You heard that Anton room? It sounded like a scratchy noise or... I don't know if there's like animals in here or something, or... Why we're here though, I just want to show you these. We have a cardboard cutout of a nun and a priest. So if you guys spot them behind me in this video, like don't be alarmed, but there has been instances of a priest being sighted literally where I'm standing, standing along these standees here. So, I mean, that's just giving me chills thinking about it. Probably not anything actually paranormal, but maybe we go back in and just try again. Okay guys, so that was odd that we heard that noise rustling in here. What was also odd is how my spirit box acted. Like, I'm not using any different settings. Everything has full battery charged. And I couldn't hear any of the normal noise that it makes, like static. It was making the noise, but really faint and quiet. So either my speaker is broken or something is wrong. Though the weird thing was I did hear snippets of voice come through that were at like a reasonable volume that they normally would be. Anton's just gone to his car to get us an EMF meter that he has. So we're gonna have a play with that. But I mean, that just was really odd. We can try again, but I don't know why it sounds like that. Alright, so we've just walked back into the same courtyard, and now we have an EMF meter on this, on Anton's iPad. And I think I'm not going to use the spirit box just yet because it sounds funny, so either it's just acting funny or it's broken. And I might just call out and see if we can get, if there are spirits around, maybe they will come close to us. Is there anybody in this courtyard with us? If you were trying to communicate before, or you were the one that was causing the noises behind us inside this building, can you please come close to me? Can you give us a sign that you are here? The closer that you come to me or this light in front of me, we can maybe pick up that you are around. Are around, are around, are around, are around. Okay, I definitely heard that. That sounded like it came from an upper floor.
Maybe it could be something falling from the tree. I'm not sure.
Okay, there's definitely noises around us. If you are here, we don't mean you any harm. We know there's a lot of terrible things that have happened at the old Diplomat Hotel. We're not here to cause you any more harm. Again. Do you want to film behind me where we can hear the sound for a bit, Jared? And I'll continue calling out. Are there any nuns or priests around? We know that you've shown yourself to people before.
Dogs are going psycho right now.
Can you make another noise? That would be really great.
That noise sounded distant.
Okay, we are going to leave this area now, but if there is someone here who's been making those noises, maybe you do want to communicate, feel free to follow us. We will be in the hotel, the old Diplomat Hotel, for a while now with you. Could you make a louder noise? Is that you upstairs?
Okay, I think that we need to make our way upstairs towards where these noises are happening.
I'm not claiming that they're paranormal. Maybe there's some animal or something up there, but we need to investigate and try to debunk that if so. It's odd because I've also heard the noises down here as well, but they seem louder up there. Alright guys, so we're just inside the old Diplomat Hotel. We're about to continue our investigation. It's also the place where a lot of people were drowned, tortured, executed, including children and babies.
It's fluctuating, which is not normal.
Tony, are you here? I think I just seen something down here. Like a light. I don't know, a small flash of light. Why have you chosen to remain here? And that phantom priest has been seen walking around this area too, which is interesting. If you guys do want to see the rest of our investigation at the old Diplomat Hotel, make sure that you're subscribed. I'm going to have a part 2 video coming out very soon where we do a full night investigation in the rest of the hotel, and so far already it's been pretty interesting. That one will be out really soon. If you did enjoy this video though, please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you want to do more reading on haunted places I've visited, head to AmysCrypt.com. You guys can also find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at AmysCrypt. Until next time.